it is our next day of reading the Tale of Despereaux. Sorry about my hair. I ran and did stuff around the house today, so I didn't really do my hair a lot today, so I look kind of funny, but that's okay. This is how my family sees me, and so you can see me like this today too. So anyway, we are going to read chapter 4, Roscuro Meets the Queen. And remember, Roscuro's the rat, and he couldn't wait any longer to try this soup that he thought was going to be so wonderful. So he jumped off Pietro's shoulder and has escaped. And we think he's going to go into the castle and try to get this soup. And if this chapter is called Roscuro Meets the Queen, I'm making a prediction like, I don't think the queen really would want a rat in her castle. So I don't know if that's going to go very well. And then another character that we met yesterday with the chef Andre was Boldo, which was a genie, a cookbook genie, who came out of the cookbook, and we realized that he helps Boldo, the chef, make his food so tasty. And they got into a fight, and remember, it was like a food fight, and they were throwing things around the kitchen because Andre did not think that the soup was tasty enough for everybody. And then they realized, when he threw that bottle of wine, that the wine was something that was missing from the soup, and that actually that added a lot of flavor, and they thought the soup was ready. So lots of interesting things happening. All right, chapter 4, Roscuro Meets the Queen. So, how do you find a rat half mad with desire for soup? You follow your nose. While Pietro was combing every nook and cranny of the village, Roscuro was clinging to the castle ballroom's chandelier. So this rat is hanging from the chandelier. Why, you ask? Because below him, the royal soup was about to be served for the first time. Roscuro waited, salivating. That means he has, his mouth is so hungry for this soup, it's starting to water. Maybe you've had that happen before. When you think of something you're hungry for, you smell it, your mouth starts to water. That's salivating. Far beneath him, a long candlelit table was set for an opulent banquet. That means fancy. The king sat proudly with the queen and princess at either side at the end of the crowded table. They too were waiting. All eyed the royal kitchen's door, eager to see their genius chef come through with his latest creation. When the door finally opened, the guests rose to their feet and clapped furiously. Andre entered carrying a large porcelain soup tureen, which he ceremoniously placed in front of the queen. Ever so slowly, Andre lifted the china lid. "Ooh!" exclaimed the crowd. Princess P and her mother leaned forward in anticipation. So did Roscuro. He leaned forward on the chandelier, trying to take in as much of the soup's mouth-watering scent as he could. When the fragrant steam finally reached his nose, he closed his eyes and crinkled his little rat nostrils in bliss. I wonder what they're going to do if they see a rat hanging from the chandelier. I would scream, because I hate mice and rats. "Voila," said Andre. "This smells amazing," said the queen, beaming. "Wait until your highness tastes it." The queen dipped her spoon into the broth. Roscuro sniffed. His mouth watered. He inched closer and closer still until he was holding on to the chandelier by a single little paw. The spoon hovered near the queen's mouth. She parted her lips and took her first delicious taste. She said, sighing. Roscuro could only imagine the sensation. His eyes closed again, and a dreamy little smile lit up his face as he imagined the unique blend of tastes. He reeled back in reverie. Then, just as quickly, Roscuro slipped and lost his grip on the chandelier. Roscuro's eyes opened wide. The air rushed past his ears, flattening his whiskers to his cheeks. He was falling to the table below. At the very moment the queen was savoring her first taste, the soup-crazed rat was tumbling head over to feet overhead until... "Andre," the queen said, "this is absolutely splat." Roscuro landed with a walloping belly flop into the queen's soup. "It moved!" the queen exclaimed. It moved? Andre asked. My soup moved, the queen said. Andre eyed the soup. No, it didn't. It did not move. But the chef could not argue when a rat surfaced from the broth wearing a ring of onion around his head. Picture that. Visualize that. A rat coming out of a bowl of soup with a ring of onion around his head. Roscuro wiped broth from his eyes and looked straight at the queen. Oh, your highness, the rat greeted. Ah! Squealed the queen. Darling, said her husband. A rat! She screeched. There is a rat in my soup! Why does she say rat as if it's a bad word? Roscuro wondered. Madam, said Roscuro politely, I know that this is unfortunate, and I know that while on first glance I might appear to be... Ah! The queen screamed. A rat! There is a rat in my soup! Please. Shh, whispered Roscuro. The queen looked down at him in horror. And I ate it, she cried. Uh-oh, said Roscuro. The queen began to gag. She clutched at her throat as the color drained from her face. She swooned. Roscuro barely managed to leap out of the way before her highness lurched, first backward, then forward, and nose-dived into her bowl of soup. The shocked party did not know where to look first. At their royal highness, face down in the vegetable soup, dead? Or at the drenched rat who had just sprung out of the linen cloth? I think she passed out. She was so shocked she fell over into her soup. She's right, yelled the king, pointing at the exposed Roscuro. It's a rat! Ah, it's a rat! Squealed Princess P. And then seeing her mother, she let out a piercing scream. Sweetie, scrumptious, the king said to his fallen wife. He turned toward his guards. Get me that rat! Roscuro sprinted down the center of the banquet table. He hopped over place settings. He darted around a candlestick, leaped over a finger bowl, and vaulted off a salad fork as if it were a diving board. So he's all over the table, Roscuro. He's running for his life. Now, I really believe you are jumping to conclusions, Roscuro tried to explain breathlessly, hurtling over the centerpiece. And I am sure other rats you have met might have caused you to create a stereotype. I'm not really from around here. Oh! A large steak knife missed his tail by an inch. Ooh, that is very aggressive, he cried. At the end of the table, Roscuro slid down the tablecloth as if it were the rigging of his ship. He scurried across the floor. The kitchen! Andre shouted to the guards. He's going into the kitchen! Roscuro fled through the kitchen door as a dozen armored men scrambled after him. Well, I was right. The queen did not enjoy meeting the rat, especially that he'd fallen into her soup that she was so excited to taste and loved very much. And she thinks rats are gross because rats kind of are gross. They get into garbage and they eat lots of dirty things. But Roscuro seems different. He said that I'm not from around here. He didn't understand why people were so upset with having a rat around. So that makes me think he's more dignified, a dignified rat, maybe more of a clean rat, since he is used to being around people. So we'll find out what happens. But in chapter 5, it's the hunt for a rat. So he's not going to get away too easily. People are going to be looking for him because he invaded the castle. So I hope you're liking this story. I think it's a pretty fun read. I think it's only going to get better because we haven't even met Despereaux yet. We have not met him. We've only met Roscuro the rat and the chef Andre and the royal family and Boldo, the genie, but we have not met Despereaux. So I wonder how this little mouse plays into the story. We will find out. I hope you're having a great day. Miss you. Keep working hard for me, and I will see you soon. Bye.